Hi-yo. I was born in Dothan, which will be down by tomorrow. Dothan, D-O-T-H-A-N, and that's down the southern part of the state. And Dad, when I was born in Dothan, Dad was the minister in Newton. And when I was about 2 years old, we moved to St. Stephen's. When we first moved there, as I say, I was about 2 years old. We stayed there for 5 years in St. Stephen's. Dad was the minister there for 5 years. There was a little parsonage there, which I think is still standing, and it had no running water, no electricity, and no screens in the windows. And your grandmother had an absolute fit. She came unglued when she walked in there. And so Dad basically promised her if she'd hold her horses, he would have another parsonage built. And so that's when he built the parsonage. And the parsonage that he built is still there. The new parsonage had electricity, but it did not have running water. There was a hand pump out on the back porch that we got all of our water from.
So you still had to go to an outhouse?
Still had to go to the outhouse. Yeah. The thing that I remember, it would be kind of interesting, is that we didn't have toilet paper at that time. I don't even think there was such a thing. And what we would do is we'd use the Sears and Roebuck catalog, and then we'd fight over the soft sheets as opposed to the slick sheets, because they worked much better. And then Dad got the idea that we should start using corn cobs, after they took the corn off. And the corn cob, when it was freshly done, was nice and velvety. So Dad got the idea we'd start using corn cobs. And so for a long time we used corn cobs in the potting. The outhouse was just a big hole they dug in the ground. And it was, I remember one time, I don't know, just came to me. Dad dropped his glasses into the outhouse, and the question was how do we get the glasses out? And it ended up that he grabbed onto my ankles and put me down through the hole. And I was scared to death he was going to let loose, because all that was down there was a bunch of crap. Dozier is where we moved to after we left St. Stephen's. I think one of the things I remember about Dozier is that Dad would go down and pick up bananas as they came off the ship from South America. And we had just been down to Mobile, and Dad had picked up a bunch of whole stalk of bananas. Anyway, Dad would pick up these bananas, and then he would cut off hands of bananas and sell them to the stores so that they could resell them. But we had banana pudding, we had fried bananas, you name it, we had it. It was the only thing we had in the house to eat. And it was that way for a week or so.
And part of the reason you had the bananas was your dad got sick around that time?
Well, yeah, Dad would...
So he couldn't distribute them like he normally would?
Right. The other thing in Dozier that was... Dad went down to the peanut mill and bought a 100-pound sack of peanuts and brought them back to the house, and we fried them up and put them in cellophane bags, clear cellophane bags. And Dad had printed out a thing on it, Joe's Peanuts, and we would sell those. And Dad shipped them over to Stabler's
store in St. Stephen's, and he would resell them there. And then on top of that, we had Dad bought me a shoe shine box because Uncle Clyde, we were visiting him one time up in Montgomery, and Uncle Clyde said that you ought to get that kid working so he could make some money. When we left Montgomery, left Dozier. Dad took a sabbatical because he was ill, and so during that period of time, we went to South Carolina, to Gaffney, South Carolina, to live with Blanche, which was Dad's sister. She owned a florist shop there in town, and we lived back there for a year, and then came back to St. Stephen's. To Robinson Springs, to Robinson Springs from Gaffney. Martin Luther King's father was preaching here.
Was Junior with?
His Junior came out with him. But Junior was about, 16, I think, then? I was across the street when Dad died because there wasn't any room for me to sleep there at the house because there was only 2 bedrooms, and they had turned one of the bedrooms into a hospital bed just for Dad, and so consequently there wasn't any room left because Mom used the other one. Helen Ray was at Huntington College then, and so I went across the street and I lived with Hilton Hall across the street, and Helen Ray came over to get me to tell me that after Dad died that night, and when she picked me up on the car, she said, I've got something to tell you. And I said, you don't have to tell me. I said, Dad died last night. And she wanted to know how, and I said, I don't know why, but I just know he died last night. And he did. I had a local preacher's license.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
I was in seminary.
So you know what that's all about.
I was in seminary. I met this cute little Catholic girl. And during that time, going back to what was accepted and what wasn't, it was not accepted to have a Catholic in the Methodist parsonage. Oh, Lord, no.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, all right.
Would not have happened.
Wow.
Catholics didn't like him.
You're right, it went both ways. Well, I had my local preacher's license, I was still in college, and they assigned me to a church up in Knights Ferry, California. It was built before this one was built. Your namesake's street.
Yeah, but it's not really our street.
And it was named after A.C. Watson.
Second.
Yeah. Uncle Clyde, in other words.